What it do? It's your boy, Illuminated D. And you know what I'm saying? We back with another one. The first thing that I want to do is thank you to everybody who's liked and commented. And to all the subscribers, Pops and I want to let you know how much we really appreciate you. For you to come and spend your time with us and to consume the content. While we understanding that you have busy lives, we want to thank you and bless. Well, family, today is April 29th, 2025, and I wanted to come and talk to you. So I was talking to one of my coworkers today, and he was telling me, he was like, dang, you know, in our current occupation, he said, I think it's a blessing because we get all these benefits. But he said, what if there was a possibility that in our current occupation that they got to choose the person who you marry? I said, that would be crazy. I said, can you imagine marrying somebody that you don't care about, right? Or you don't have no ties to? And then he said, well, think about it. He said back in like the 1800s or 1700s, the dynasty times, he said most relationships were prearranged. He said basically that everything was prearranged. Like the family actually decided who was gonna marry their daughter, who was gonna marry the husband. You know what I'm saying? Like who the husband was gonna marry, who the daughter was gonna marry. And I said, do you know why they did that though? And he says, well, tell me. He says, give me some knowledge. I said they did that, and it was all based off of family structure. So basically, people got married not because they loved each other, but because it was beneficial to the sustainment and the growth of civilizations, families, and nations. So let me say that one more time. People didn't get married in those times for love, right? They got married due to resources. So one family might have had like 10,000 chickens, and the other family might have had 10,000 goats. And they figured that if we teamed up and we sell chickens and goats, now we're going to be huge. We all going to make a super bag together because it makes sense, right? Like, why would you go and marry a homeless person and you know for a fact? Why would you go and marry a homeless person if you know for a fact that they're not going to be able to provide you any value in your life? So I said, think about it. I said 9 times out of 10, any chick worth her own salt. Any chick worth her own salt, right? Worth her salt. She not just going to drive past a dude who's working out on the street who perceives to be homeless and just going to jump at him. You know what I'm saying? If he got the body, you know, the body banging, you never know. I mean, you know, even through the funny videos, I've never seen a chick just stop and try and give a bum, you know what I'm saying, the opportunity to get with her. Think about it. Just how I'm not going to walk down the street and just see a bad Joan walking down the street and just, hey, Shaw, let me get at you. We don't, you know what I'm saying? You don't know it. Just because she bad don't mean nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's all based off of resources. It's based off of what can your partner do for you, as well as what can you do for them. But the difference between now generation and back then is the fact that people didn't actually have the opportunity to leave. Like once you get married, you locked in. You see what I'm saying? You locked in. Ain't no jumping ship. You feel me? And I think that's the difference between today. So people are marrying for love, and then they start to understand that the feeling, the dopamine, the excitement is fleeting. You know what I'm saying? Because the honeymoon phase isn't 24/7. At some point, you know, it's a day-to-day routine. You feel me? It's a day-to-day routine. And I think people forget about that, but I'm not trying to go too deep on, you know, the relationship dating topic. It was basically to say, like, the purest love I ever seen, right, was a couple sleeping on a mattress outside under a tree. I was going to look for a fourplex. I was trying to buy a fourplex. So, you know what I'm saying? I was house hunting, and as I went into this fourplex and I started looking at it and I'm doing my research, I'm sitting there with the realtor who's, you know, showing me the property, and basically I was like, oh wow, I was like, is this a high homeless area? But I thought that it was so beautiful because there was actually a couple who was sleeping on a mattress under the tree outside. Now, just because I think that it's beautiful, I got all the love in my heart, but I don't got enough love to know that I got an able body to go and put in work and just to go outside and sleep under a tree on a mattress with you. I don't got that much love in my soul. I got that much love. Hey, look, I'll come and sit on the mattress and try and get you off the mattress and tell you, look, hey, come inside. I'm gonna be like, come inside, you feel me? Like, you don't gotta sleep out here, but it's gotta make sense, you feel me? Like, don't get me wrong, like, the old generation was different. Back then, people didn't have the same rights that they got today. They didn't have the same rights that they got today. So the rights is that most times men would go to work and the women would stay home with the children, cook, clean. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't because that's all that, you know what I'm saying? Because people like to say, oh, that's all that women were good for. No, that's not the truth. Back in those times, it was dangerous. So the problem is that if you're a certain culture at this time or a certain complexion, people were looking at you like you were looked at as a target. You feel me? So if you're outside, you just wandering around, you're going to get harassed. You're going to get, you know what I'm saying, ran after. You're going to get sought after, and not necessarily a positive way. So if it was a negative way, you can imagine that husbands didn't want their wives out there having to deal with the cruelties of the world at that time. And totally understandable. Now, it's not like that. Now, everybody has the opportunity to go up and get it. So, for me, why would I, you know what I'm saying? Like, the question is, the whole topic was basically about if somebody else had the opportunity to marry you off to somebody else, how would you feel? You feel me? Like, think about it. I think that love is beautiful, and I think that searching for it and finding it is a beautiful thing, but it shouldn't just be based off of the fact that they beating the walls down, that they giving some good deed, that they just make you feel good. Because just because somebody can make you feel like you got butterflies doesn't mean that they can support you in your life. Does that make sense, family? You know? I'm not sure if it makes sense. It makes sense to me. So it's like, if you were deeply, madly in love and your man's or your girl told you, hey, babe, I'm ready to just give up. I think that we should just choose this mattress under this tree, and that we should just sleep here and not ever have to pay bills. It hurts because it's hard. Look, it's hard to be successful, and it's hard to be homeless. It's hard to make a living, and it's hard to be homeless. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why I say that is it's hard to be homeless because if you sleeping on a mattress under a tree, what happens if it starts raining and you don't got a raincoat? What happens if it starts snowing and you don't got a jacket? It's hard because you might have to wake up at 5:30 every day and go to work from 9 to 5, 5 to 5, 5 a.m. to 9 p.m., 5 a.m. to 5 a.m. It's hard. On either side, it's hard. Putting your hand out and begging and watching people ask you, or you asking people, please, can you help me? And they just, I'm sorry, I don't got it. Maybe you get $10. I mean, I've seen people that fake $100K a year. They finesse that good. They finesse it good. So you can imagine most of these homeless people not really out here suffering. A lot of them are doing it as a full-time job, I'll tell you, and they get paid to do it. Paid good. I seen a dude, I told y'all about Santa Claus. Santa Claus used to stand at the corner every day before I went to work and salute every single day. He used to stand there and salute every day. He would salute. He would just stand there and just salute every car that goes by. And people gave Santa Claus money because he had this big white beard. But Santa Claus always looked clean. And I'm telling you, on a Saturday, I seen Santa Claus driving with some suspenders on, a drop-top BMW, old school, super clean, and his white beard just blowing in the wind. He wasn't there on the weekends, but he was definitely there every day of the week. So you know what he did? He went out there and he put in work. But guess what? It was hard probably to get out there and just stand there and do that every day, but maybe not. It looked like he perfected it to me. So, like I was saying, I think that it's just this huge dynamic of, I think getting married for love is a beautiful thing, but I think we got to start assessing the values of our relationships and what our partner can bring to the table. Do they only bring you happiness, joy, and peace, or are they bringing some of that money on? Are they providing some of that money on? And remember, a lot of people are saying that they want a man who makes $100K a year. They saying they want a man who makes $100K a year. Well, check this and understand well. If your partner doesn't have $100K a year, you have to live within the means of their residuals, right? So if they make $100K, that means that you're confined to what 100K can do. You're confined to the 100K lifestyle. You're confined to the 75, 60K lifestyle. You feel me? You're confined to the $50,000 lifestyle. You're confined to the $30,000, $35,000 lifestyle. So I look at it like, if you go marry for love, you got to stop judging your partner, right? Don't judge your partner based off of how much they make, but just learn how to live within the comfortability of the means of how much they make. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to tell you, a lot of people don't really think like this. This is just like a one-sided cycle where the internet only shows you that people only care about individuals that make 100K. I promise you that is not real. Like, I've met some amazing women that didn't care if I made 100K. Now, some individuals were definitely, I would say, a little bit higher maintenance than others because they're used to the lifestyle of a certain type of living. So that means that in order for you to participate in this lifestyle, you have to make a certain amount. And, you know what I'm saying, you got to be able to contribute to the table. You feel me? So it's all based off of, like, you got to date within your pay range. You got to date within your tax bracket. That's what we're going to call this. Dating within your tax bracket. But understand that love doesn't pay the bills. Love got us the ability to be able to go to heaven. But I promise you, if you go to the gas station and you say, hey, look, sir, please, I'm going to pay this gas with my love, they're probably going to laugh. If you go to the rent office and you say, hey, look, please, man, please, sir, I want to pay with my love, they're probably going to look at you and laugh and be like, oh my gosh, that's so sweet. That's so sweet. But it's still due on the first. And if you can't pay after 60 days, we're just going to evict you. As much as we care about your love, love's not paying the bills. Love will definitely get your bills paid for by a person that loves you. But it doesn't mean that I can go to my job and go in there and say, hey, I'm going to go to my manager and say, hey, today I don't want to work. I just want to pay with my love. I want to pay my work with my love. That means I'm not going to do no work. I'm just going to show love today. Only the pastor gets to do that. And he still got to go out there and preach. He still got to preach the good word. You feel me? He got to preach that good word, because if that word ain't good and it's not hitting, ain't nobody putting no bread in there. I'm trying to tell you, that sermon got to be hitting. That sermon got to be hitting. So family, I just want to let you all know, this was not a rant on anything in particular, but basically just to let you all know that life is fleeting. So don't waste your opportunity to find love, but don't succumb to the reality that, you know what I'm saying, love is going to pay the bills. Love's not going to pay the bills. The love for a partner to go put in work, to go and get that off the muscle, is what's going to pay the bills. You feel me? But I think that it was just like a funny story, basically, because, you know, what my coworker was telling me about on basically like, what if, you know, our job just forcibly married us off to people, because in the 1700s, pretty much, families married their families off. But remember, it was all based off resources. It was based off resources. So we all want to be successful. We all want to be somewhere in life. But in order to do that, you got to do something that you ain't never done before. And that's the reason that we doing this right here, right now. Everybody be blessed. Be safe. We out.